Excuse me, sorry. Hello, I'm Bob Ross Jr. and welcome to Canada Paints. I'm Bob Ross's son, and I'm really looking forward to introducing you today to the wonderful, happy world of the Canadian model of performance and engagement. Today we're going to be experiencing a joy in painting a Canadian model which has existed for years to associate us with occupational performance and happiness. It was first introduced by the Canadian Association of Occupational Therapists to work with any bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, hockey-loving Canadian like myself. So we're going to explore the dynamic interaction of person, occupation, and environment. Shall we get started on this magical journey? So here my assistant, Navid, has already prepared our wonderful paints. We're going to quietly and peacefully come over. And we're going to start off with our person. Who shall it be? Sidney Crosby? Celine Dion? Pam Anderson, perhaps? You like that, eh? No. We're going to do Bryan Adams, Canadian multi-platinum singer and hero of our country. Here we have Bryan. Look at those beautiful blue eyes. I'm going to mix it with a little orange. Oh, Bryan, you're looking great. You look naked without your guitar. It's okay. It's kind of be calm. Be calm. So here we have Bryan. But Bryan looks lonely. He's matching something in his life. He needs his guitar. He needs his multi-platinum hit, Summer of '69, which brought Canada a lot of joy, myself included. So let's represent this meaning. A little guitar, just a little brush, gentle like a whisper. Right there. This is going to be Bryan's spirituality. But Bryan can't reach his spirituality because, well, he needs a bridge to cross. He needs something special and wonderful. So let's just call this Bryan's occupation. He's going to cross this magical bridge, jump on top. Go ahead and seize that guitar, Bryan. Carpe diem. Carpe guitarum. Okay, so here we have the bridge of occupation. We have Bryan the person, and we're going to need the environment in which he can thrive. So let's go ahead and have a giant music hall right there. There's the people. No, painting is just what you want it to be. There's Bryan. So he's going to go ahead and cross on over the environment, bring his spirituality into light, and create beautiful occupational performance. But wait, there's a hindrance under the bridge. What is this? Trying to stop. That's that hoser Chad Kroeger from Nickelback. That troll under the bridge trying to stop our multi-platinum hero, national icon, from crossing. What does it represent? Well, it represents bad pop music trying to get in the way of some of the best music ever created on this continent, arguably the world. So we're going to go ahead, draw a nice little stream. Chad Kroeger, you're going to stay under there. There we go. So you're just going to go ahead and rest. But the beautiful thing about the CMOP-E is, in order for Bryan to achieve complete occupational performance, he's also going to have two friends. And everyone needs a friend. That's what I always say. And that's how I live my life. So now to put you to the bravery test, we're going to go ahead and bring these friends in here. We have the Canadian model of client-centered enablement, the CMCE, and the Canadian Practice Process Framework, the CPPF, which are both engaged in enablement actions. So, you know, I grew up raising a small moose myself, like most Canadian youth. We go ahead and draw this friend. That's a beautiful moose. And go ahead, Bryan. It's going to be an action portrait. Put your legs on that moose and ride it on over to your spirituality. And let's create that wonderful occupational performance. So we're going to go ahead. Bryan's riding his moose. We're going to be able to create an environment in which we have adaptation, advocation, coaching, collaboration, consultation, coordination, designing, building, education, engaging, and specialized. It's like the love of your mother, gentle, sweet, Wonderful. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Anyone can paint. Anyone can engage in the CMOP-E. It's a wonderful model for engaging yourself and your loves and everything that's important in your life. So I'd like to thank you for coming out today. Welcome you back next week when we draw Stephen Harper on horseback. Okay, I love you. God bless. Hi, I'm Joe, your occupational therapist.
I'm Bob Ross, Bob Ross Jr.'s father.
Ah, nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah. So what brings you in today?
He has told me a lot about it. Actually, I brought his work here. He told me that he did some work with Brian Adams and something called CMOP-E.
Yes,
Or,
yes.
and he told me he knows that I have carpal tunnel syndrome. I love painting. It's a spiritual journey for me, and I paint my mugs. And I teach my kids how to paint, so it is very important for me lately. I have the pain and I can't do that. He had told me to come here and talk to you about it.
Well, great. I'm glad you came in. The CMOP-E, we have three components. As your son drew up there, we have the person, that's you. And we want to connect you. I know you're saying that painting, it sounds like it's a very important part of your life.
Yes,
right?
yes. So it doesn't have to be Brian Adams.
Doesn't have to be Brian Adams. Doesn't have to be Chad Kroger. It's just about you right now. And it seems like your occupation of painting, we want to bring that into the way you act on your environment. And so it sounds like your wrist is giving you some trouble with carpal tunnel. Is that right?
Yes, I've
Yeah.
been moving it around. It's hard.
Okay. Well, through CMOP-E, which is our model that we're going to use up here in Canada to kind of treat you, we're gonna be basing around what's important to you, which is art. You're an art being, you're an occupational being, and we want to make that a realization. And so I think there's a couple options to enable that occupation so that you can act on your environment. One's a splint that we can use to kind of immobilize your wrist, and you'll still be able to do a lot of your actions, but kind of rest that wrist so that you won't have a lot of trouble. Does that
So
sound?
would that be my bridge then?
That would be kind of acting on your bridge, yes, and affecting what we call your occupational performance overall. And so we're hoping to do that. Now, another part that's really cool about us being Canadian that you might not get down south is drinking coffee is one from Tim Hortons. It's wonderful. Number two is we're going to try and make sure that you can be enabled through Health Canada to be able to actually afford your splint, get your splint. So we're going to take you through that process as well. Does that sound like something you're interested in?
Oh yes, down in the US we pay for it.
Yeah, yeah. It can be vicious. It can be vicious. Well, so is there any other questions you have about the CMOP-E or your wrist for that matter?
Oh, so you call it CMOP-E. Could you remind me what it stands for?
Canadian Model of Performance and Engagement, excuse me. But there is an enablement factor that I just talked about.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great. Thank you very much.
Thank
and,
you.
Very nice.
That's an honor.
Not too hard.
All right.
Thank you.
Enchanté.
Oh.